This is a good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many. When the
Good evening and welcome to Sea Fishing with CJ. We're back on the beach again. This time we're down at Langley Point. We'll have a little fly around in a minute and see what we can see. Billy Bob is barking at the drone, so let's get it up out of his way so that he stops doing that. We'll have a little look around before the sun goes down. So up we go. So that's the Pooh Palace you can see there, and then the entrance to the harbour beyond that, and Langley the housing estate. And let's have a turn round and just see what we can see.
Maximum flight altitude reached.
Okay, so there's Langley, and then looking along the shore to the west, that's Eastbourne in the distance, and we've got a splendid sunset going up down over Beachy Head. So I don't think I can get any higher. I've reached my maximum altitude.
Maximum flight altitude
Let's have a little again circuit round, look out to where we're fishing tonight. So out into the English Channel, sky is a beautiful colour, and then to the east, looking along the coast, and then probably in the distance, I don't know if you can see as far as Hastings or not, but certainly you can see the harbour, the entrance to the harbour, and the houses on the estate. Let's raise it up a bit more. Back around, let's have a look at that sunset. Look at that sunset, amazing. Yeah, loving the sunset. So we'll get tackled up, and no more ado, we'll start fishing. Now I've just been into the Angler's Den, speaking to Glyn there. They fished a comp last night, and apparently it was really good. They got loads of fish, some decent sized congers, loads of dogfish, and of course all the other fish that you would expect this time of year, whiting, etc. So I have got some baby cuttlefish which I'll whack out. Now worst case scenario, I'll get a conger on it. Best case scenario, I might get one of those bearded unicorns, but we live in hope. We live in hope. So let's get this drone back down again, and let's get fishing. There's no light on these, so I'm in the dark. So let's get some lights on. Right, the rods are set. Traps are set. I just about see the light from my rod tip, I don't know. And let there be light. And there was light. And you could see for miles. Billy Bob, you're going to be cold out here. You'd be better off in your bed. Right, well the traps are set. We've got two baits out. One is a free hook flapper, clip down flapper with black lug on, and the other one is a 4-0 pulley pennel with half a cuttlefish on it. Let's see what's going on. Now I did notice while I was setting up that the right hand rod was nodding around, so I think we're going to wind that in now. It's sort of soaring now, so we're going to wind that in, and let's see if we've got anything on it. So I'll walk down the beach, wind this in, see what we've got. Oh, feels solid. The tide's quite a long way out, and I've rigged my rods up at the top of the beach, basically because I can't be bothered to keep moving the rod rest. Tide is on its way in, so in a couple of hours we won't have to walk so far. There's something on here. It's not fighting. It's not a fighting whiting. Oh, don't know, maybe it is. Or is it hooked a snag? No, it's come in. Apparently we can expect a lot of dabs, a lot of whiting, a lot of dogfish, and the odd conger eel. And I'm praying for a cod. Been a few blows just recently. Been calm today, northerly offshore winds. So let's hope that the bearded unicorns have come in to sweep up all the shellfish and stuff that's been washed up. Here we go, look what we got here. We have got some fish here. Got no light on, so I can't see. Whoa. Yes. We've got some weed on the lead or not. I'll clear that off. It's got a solid little block of weed on here. I'm going to ping off, that's for sure. Looks like two whiting, one very small one and one not much bigger. We'll get them up, we'll get them on camera, we'll get them off and we'll get them back in the sea. But you know what this means? Cue the music. It's not a blank dance. So, cue the music, it's not a blank. Woo! This is the downside being so far up from the tide. It's a long walk back each time. And away. One thing, keeps you warm. I'm not cold now, my hands are warm in fact. Billy Bob, there's hooks there, you be careful. Right, let's get these tackled back up and get it back out there. Okay, so we've got back in after tackling up, baiting up, tidying up, and already that right hand rod is rattling like a good one. Yep, got something else on there. Let's wind that in and have a look. Actually, we've got 3 baits on there, haven't we? Let's wait and see if that develops into anything more. Oh yeah, that's definitely going now. Next big rattle will go. I mean, they're not particularly big rattles, so little whiting, I'm thinking. Yeah, let's go and have a look at that. It's definitely rattling away now. Give a little tug then. See anything coming in? No, nothing there. There's definitely a good healthy old rattle going on there though. Probably a little whiting. Right, we're not even have to change these baits. These baits have hardly been touched, so I don't know what was going on there, but little fish maybe. Definitely had a tug on the way in. So maybe there was something on the bottom hook and it came off. Right, let's whack this back out. Right, nothing there. Turn the camera off, look round, and the rod's rattling already. Yeah. We'll let that develop. 3 hooks on there. We'll see what we can get in a minute. I'll turn the camera off and we'll put it back on again when something develops. While we're waiting for things to start happening, we'll use our secret weapon, see if we can't create the bite. Got the tea. Doesn't steam as much as the water that comes out of a kettle just boiled on the beach, does it? But it's still nice. We will do some catching, cooking, burning stuff on the beach, but not at the moment. Cheers. Now, what are we going to have? We're going to have a cake, or we're going to have a sausage roll. Let's have a sausage roll. Billy Bob would like a sausage roll, a bit of a sausage roll, because when I looked round when I was tacking up, he was just about to start diving into the snack bag. You can't see him on the camera. Get the camera pointed at him. So what we'll do is we'll get him to come up. We'll get a sausage roll. Yeah, oh yeah, look, up here, come on, up you get. There you go. For all your fans on YouTube, Billy Bob has had some sausage roll. He's a happy dog. I went to the Marks and Spencer's garage, which is just up the road from Pevensey. I wanted a pasty. Now I thought it was, they always sold pasties in garages, but not Marks and Spencer's apparently. Well, good health to everybody. Next time I film, it will be because there's a fish. I'm sure you don't want to see me sitting eating sausage rolls. So I'm going to stop this now and we'll come back on in a minute. My right hand rod has been nodding and tugging and going up and down. My left hand rod has gone right round to the left now, so I think I maybe picked up a load of weed. So I'm going to have to wind them both in and see if I've got any fish on the right hand rod, see what's going on the left hand rod. So just bear with me for a little while and sort this out. In fact, they've both gone right round to the right. A bit of weed on them. Oh, there's a fish there. It's only an ickle one. It's this really annoying little tiny fibrous weed that gets stuck on your leader knot. Tiny little whiting. Might put a live bait rig out. Yeah, so it's a fish, but not much of one. Just a tiny little whiting, which is well hooked. I might put a stinger rig out. See if we can't pick up something on the line back. Right, let's get this one in. To be fair, it didn't go very far out, so. It's the difference between monofill and braid. As soon as you lift the braid up, you're pulling the lead out. With monofill, you've got to take so much stretch out of the line. See if I've got loads of weed on it. Oh, there's something on it. Something heavy on it anyway. Oh, that wind is cold. So that was on half a cuttlefish, one very greedy little whiting. Now the other thing that is happening a lot of at the moment is we're getting a lot of this really annoying fibrous-y weed wrapping around the lines. Usually it's just for a stage of the tide and then it stops, but builds up on your line and then it will pull you around down tight. So let's get this bad boy back in. That's probably the biggest whiting of the night so far, albeit it's not very big. But here we go. A fish nonetheless. Let's get him back to swim and be a nuisance another day. Let's get these baited up and back out there. So, because there seems to be a lot of little whiting out there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish a stinger rig. So basically normal lead to a Gemini clip. It's an up and over pulley rig, and the hook is a small circle hook. It's got a little luminous bead above it. I'm going to put a bit of worm on that, and then straight above it there is a larger circle hook. The idea being is you get a little whiting on here, he stays hooked on, and then something bigger, conger, cod, anything that's bigger really, that will eat whiting, will come along, eat the whole whiting, and then pick up the circle hook. That's the plan. So the good thing about it is we just let it out. We want to see a bite on it. Once we get a bite on it, we know there's bait on it now, and we'll leave it. And then, you know, if it's gone quiet and there's nothing happened for a very long time, we'll just bring it in and check it again. But we'll bait that up with a little bit of worm and whack that out. So let's see how that goes. Well, it is proper cold now. We're only fishing for big fish now. I've stopped fishing for whiting. I've had half a dozen. So can I break out the USB electric hand warmers. So this is the new one that I've got, which is a more powerful one, or longer lasting. Let's whack it on. Right, it's got 2 bars on. Let's see how quickly it is before that gets warm. Tucked into the front of my coat, so it's like a big hot water bottle. And we're going to sit down, we're going to have a cup of tea. Billy Bob, can I have a little cake? Come here, come here. Come on, let's just show the people your coat. Billy Bob, has got his coat on, so he should be nice and warm. And he's most of the time he's tucked up in his bed, but he did come out to see what I was doing. Let's get some food out and give him a snack, a Scooby snack. Right, get in your bed. As we know, his bed is a bait bucket. Now we've got half a cuttlefish on one rod, which we did catch a whiting on just now, to be fair. And I've got a stinger rig, just a little bit of worm, and it's tied onto the little tiny stinger hook with a larger, I don't know, 4-0 or 6-0 circle hook above it. And that really is, we'll leave that, whatever happens, unless you get a big lunging rod bending bite, or we'll bring it in after a couple of hours and just check to see if we've still got bait. So that's what we're doing. Let's get some food on. Let's have a cup of tea and take it from there. Right, we're gonna just tackle up the 3 hook flapper that we had out, because I've got a stinger rig on there. If anything happens on a stinger rig, better get that in and get the 3 hook out, catch some small whiting again, and then put the stinger back out. So here it is. All we're doing is straight worm on here. So we just got some worm here. It's not fresh out today, I wouldn't think, but it's still alive. You can tell it's alive if you give it a little bang and it sort of shrivels up. 3 hooks, 3 baits. So get all this paper out of the way. Obviously don't leave it on the beach, tidy it away. This all comes home with me and then goes in the dustbin at home and stinks the kitchen out. So I've got a needle here. It's got a blunt end because it's for worm, and it's got a little recess on the other end for the hook. So what I'm going to do with these worms is I'm going to get rid of their tails, pinch the tails out. Now I like to thread my worms from the tail end towards the head. The idea being is that the juiciest part of the worm is nearest the hook. I really don't know if it makes a vast amount of difference, to be truthful. I think it's just down to preference, but that's what I do. And the pin is long enough that I can put 3 worms on here, so that I can then do the 3 hooks nice and quickly. Try not to pierce the side of the worms. It's not the end of the world if you do come out the side of the worm, but it's just better if you don't. That's 3 baits for 3 hooks. Out the head. And this is a clip down 3 hook paternoster. So do the bottom hook first, because we'll clip that in. That hook goes into that tiny little recess in the end of the pin. And if you can see that, but it is tiny. So I don't tend to bring my specs out when I'm fishing, but sometimes you think perhaps I ought to. And just feed straight onto the hook. There's a little sequin and a stop knot there. That wants to come up to stop it riding up the line. And that one clips into the Gemini clip. So that's clipped into the Gemini, and then we've got 2 little cascade swivels here. So there's a cascade hook for the top snood to clip into. So feed the second worm on. so I can see the point of the hook. That's it. Make sure the line's fairly taut, because you don't want it to push the hook out of that little tiny recess. Right, and that's the second one on. And that clips into the little cascade hook on the swivel there. So that's clipped down in place. And then the third one, just a repetition. I do have another baiting needle which isn't quite so difficult for the optically challenged, but this was the one that came to hand when I came to do this just now. Put it down so you know where it is, so you don't spend hours searching for it, which is another thing that I do a lot of. Make sure the hook is clear, and then it clips into the snood, into the hook, the cascade hook. And that's it. 3 hooks, all ready, all clipped down, ready to go. Make sure that the lead is set, ready to go as well, so that if I bring that rod in, I can put this straight on and get it back fishing nice and quickly. And that's it. What's happening? Right, the lines are going way across. I'm suspecting I picked up loads of that little weed. Well, the right hand rod, which is the stinger rod, has started to bounce around, which is possibly an indication that we've got whiting on the end of it. Sorry? You got my line? Possibility I've got Jason. Right, I put my 3 hook flapper out again on the right hand rod. I'm pretty sure the little tip light's gone out. I have to change the battery in it. And it was rattling like a good one. Of course, typical, put the camera on it and it stops. Tonight is the night for the battery failure. Battery failure, things getting lost. Where's the elastic gone? Where's that roll of elastic gone? Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. It must have rolled off. I'll have to move up the beak soon. Not good hook in hand. Get this rigged up, ready to go swap straight over, and we'll bring in whatever we've got on that 3 hook. Oh, it's definitely going rattle. I can see the bloody shaking the rod rest. So he thinks It's the curse of the tingling. So the live rate stinger rig is rigged up and ready to go. Get that 3-hook flapper in and get that out. See if we can't get something decent. Definitely something on here. I can feel it. Oh, plug in. Definitely 1, 2, 2. Just 1. So, whiting or a biting. Should be able to. Slack line me, dude. Stinger rig, you see that there's a little whiting has gorged itself on the stinger hook, and then above the whiting is a reasonable sized circle hook. The idea being that a conger comes along, wolfs down the whiting, and then gets hooks on the bigger hook. So that's the plan. Yeah, we brought it in because the tide is starting to flow the other way now, and I was going to get swept round the groin. I didn't want to get snagged in the groin. So we'll stop filming for a minute. Well, I just went to walk down to have a word with Jason, see how he's doing for tonight. He's doing all right. He's had some whiting. He's had a nice doggy. Had a huge pouting for off the beach. He's fishing with small baits, so. And on the walk back, look what I found. A squid jig. So it looks in quite a good nick. So I'll definitely put that one into my tackle box. Yeah. So, as I remember, I do like to clean up the beaches for tackle, but that is not rubbish. That's a good squid jig. So I'm going to keep that. It's been an interesting night. Hasn't been a blank. We've had a few whiting. We could have had a lot more whiting, to be truthful, but really I wasn't that enthused about catching lots and lots of whiting. I'd much rather catch something interesting. So we swapped over to half a cuttlefish. Well, we had one rod out with half a cuttlefish on all the time, but we swapped the other rod over to a stinger rig, which the idea being is that the little hook catches a whiting, the big hook catches something that wants to eat the whiting. And as you saw, we did catch a whiting. We did catch whiting on it, but nothing big. So, you know, I'm going to keep on doing that. I tried that last year without success. It will catch fish. I'm convinced it will catch some decent fish. Certainly conger eels, and I wouldn't be surprised if cod don't eat whiting as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Going to wind everything up, tidy everything away now, and we're going to call it a night. The tide is now just starting to turn. It's very, very cold. It's probably 0 degrees or lower, and I want to do it before my hands start getting chilled. And we're going to pack it on, knock it on the head, and get home. So thanks very much for joining me on this adventure. Yeah, please enjoy, keep safe, keep sane, keep fishing.